Have you ever seen something so grand and so extravagant that your first question wasn't, what is this, but who is it trying to convince? I've been in Paris the last little bit and it was raining last week. So what better way to spend a rainy day than at one of the amazing museums here? So I bought my ticket to the Louvre, hopped on the metro, and I went. And of course, I had to check out Napoleon's apartment, saw the crowd in front of the Mona Lisa, which I skipped because it wasn't my first time. But this time around, I found myself particularly fixated on this one painting just down the hall from the Mona Lisa. It was this painting by Jacques-Louis David, painted between 1805 and 1807, commissioned by Napoleon himself. It depicts the moment Napoleon, having just crowned himself emperor, lifts a second crown onto the head of his kneeling wife, Josephine. But before I even saw this scene, I was captivated by just how massive this painting was. Like, larger than anything I'd ever seen. And I couldn't help but wonder, why was a painting this large commissioned in the first place? Because it definitely wasn't a mistake. And the more I learned about the painting, the more it started to make sense. So first, of course, it was state media in a pre-photographic age. Commissioned by Napoleon himself, what else could it be? But one layer beneath that is where it starts to get interesting, because the scene you see in the painting didn't actually happen, at least not in the way it was depicted. There were a few edits made by David. The first one being that, according to his sketchbooks, he originally planned to paint Napoleon crowning himself, but he changed it to a more gentle moment. Napoleon, already crowned, lifting the crown onto a kneeling Josephine. And this was a huge message, saying to everyone that the crown moves from his hands to hers, that he is a source of legitimacy. The next change was the Pope's depiction. In the scene, Pope Pius VII is sat behind Napoleon with his hand raised in benediction. Reduced to being a witness of the event, this was a message that the hierarchy was reversed, that Rome has come to Paris, and not the other way around. But what makes this even more interesting is the fact that the Pope didn't actually crown Napoleon. Nobody did. Napoleon famously took the crown from Pius VII and crowned himself, then crowned Josephine. The actual ceremony was a piece of political theater that humiliated the church. And again, it goes with the theme that Napoleon is authorizing himself, that he doesn't need anyone to give him authority. There were some other details like the fact that Josephine looks about 25 even though she was actually 41 at the time, as well as the fact that Napoleon's mother sits in the scene even though she chose not to show up in protest, but Napoleon ordered David to paint her in. But I think what this all reveals, the edits as well as the size, is that they all play a role in correcting reality in Napoleon's favor. Standing at 20 feet tall and 32 feet across, it makes you reckon with reality. And standing in a room in the Louvre, you find yourself looking up at a corrected version of something that didn't quite happen, and feeling for a second like it had. I'm having such a great time in Paris, and if you want more videos like this, please like and follow, and let me know your thoughts in the comments.